Here's 5 tangible steps toward level 5 multiplication. First, I like to look at every new convert as a potential, and I put the word overseas, church planter. See, part of my heart is always for Japan. So I look at everybody that gets saved, and I think, how can I get this guy to become a missionary in Japan? Now, most of them never will. But if I keep thinking, this is the high standard, I'm trying to get you to become a missionary in Japan, at least I'm going to get you to maybe lead a home group in our church. And if I keep holding out, maybe then you'll end up planting a micro church. Maybe you'll start a little movement of micro churches, and maybe you'll end up in Japan. But I'm going to hold this standard in my mind for every person that I ever meet. And to me, that's a step for you to take. You begin to start to look at that. The second thing is that you need to learn more about the things that we're talking about. Go to Exponential. Go to the website. Look at some of these books. Look at the book called Becoming a Level 5 Multiplying Church. And build a working theology. You need to know biblically why you believe in whatever it is that you're doing. Whenever I've planted a church, here's what I do. I just go get a really cheap one of those paper notebooks that's got, it's not like a 3-ring binder, but it's got little wire clips in it. And I get some paper like this with holes punched in it, and I just fill the thing with paper. And then I start writing things like children's ministry on one page, ushering on one page, greeting on one page, worship on one page, food on one page. I just write anything I can think of on one page. And then as time goes on and I get ideas about ways of doing things, I write those ideas. But what I'm always looking for is what is the Bible telling me about how greeters should be in the parking lot with people? What is the Bible teaching me about the way that we should share food together in church? What is the Bible teaching me about children's ministry in our church? I build a theology for all of that, so when I go and I start trying to teach the people, this is how we're going to be as a church, I have a personal theology for all of these things. And I would suggest that you, if you're pastoring for the last 15 years, go back and make a little notebook like that and write down, or do it in your phone, write down every area of your church, begin to try to figure out a way to scripturally justify what you do. And here's what will happen. You'll find some of the things and you'll go, we should quit doing that because it doesn't measure up to the Bible. We just do that because of church tradition. And church tradition and the Bible are two different things. It needs to be biblical. The third thing here is plant a church, a micro church. They're actually the third thing here. This is 6. I goofed. The third one is recruit and disciple a few radicals. Find the craziest guys you know that are crazy about Jesus and begin to get together and go over this material with them. In fact, here's what I would say. Go get 3 people in your church that you believe have some horsepower and could go out and plant the church, and get a hold of what he's going to put on YouTube and watch it together and talk about it. And take a little while doing it, like every 2 weeks, get together for a couple hours and talk about it and see what would happen. But you're looking for fanatics, honestly. Plant a church as an experiment. Start 1. Don't start 5 or you'll fail. Go start 1 as an experiment and then scale up from your experiment. Begin to go, if this is what worked at 1 or this is what worked at this size, how can we do this a little bigger and go from there? And then the last thing comes back to his question again about am I not responsible for these people? I don't want heretics out there. You need to build some support mechanisms. There needs to be some way of how are we going to communicate with these people after they leave the house. I have children and I have grandchildren. And I don't talk to my children like I used to when they lived in my house. And I don't talk with my grandchildren like I ever talked with my children when they lived in my house. That's the way it's going to be. But there needs to be some support mechanisms. There needs to be some ways of you figuring out how are we going to communicate. I got 2,400 churches out there I got to deal with. The easiest way in the world for me to do that is writing books and keeping a blog going. And I don't think they all read my blog by any stretch. But some do. And so I'm doing the best I can with what I got. And that's all you can ever do, is the best you can with what you got. And I'm done. Thank you all very much. God bless.